What is good, Tsla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And this one, I'm going to be breaking down what's going on with the overall market and talk about this very important level on Tesla that's being tested right now and some other important things involving the news affecting the stock. Before I break anything down about Tesla, Nvda, the QQQ, and many tickers out there, let me just mention a couple of things. I'm firstly not a financial planner, so take none of this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you are guaranteed up to 12 free stocks. The offer ends very soon, in just about 13 days, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, let's break down what's happening with the market and Tesla right now. So, looking at Tesla, we had some very, very interesting price action. I called out this triple bearish divergence that was developing on Tesla's 30 minutes time frame, also on the hourly and also on the 4-hour time frame. And looking at this bearish development, I was telling you that Tesla should see some downside very soon, and that is what's happening so far. But the question is, will Tesla continue to tank, or is Tesla about to find its bottom? And I'm going to answer this question in just a couple of minutes. First, let's talk about a couple of things. The Tesla Model 3 Highland has come out. It looks very, very beautiful. I love the headlights, the LEDs. They look very, very cool. And in my opinion, with this coming out and this potentially being released within the next few months, this is just amazing, amazing, amazing news for them. Now, with Tesla officially doing this, especially in like China, it's just amazing news for them, and this was great for the company moving forward. But approaching this event, Tesla was pumping, which made me a little suspicious if we're going to see like a pump and dump or some kind of like buy the rumor, sell the news kind of event. And also, it may not just be that. We also had some bearish news that ended up coming out, which played another role in why Tesla ended up selling off. Tesla has dropped the prices of the Model S/X, and the Model X also qualifies for the US tax credit. But with the price cuts that just came out, we're talking about 15 to 19% cuts overall, as we're seeing lots and lots of their inventory enter these backlogs. So with all of that happening, that's not good news for Tesla whatsoever, and Tesla's looking more and more bearish. But why did Tesla drop like this? There are many different factors. One of them was the fact that SPY and the QQQ were looking weaker, in my opinion. They affected Tesla to some extent. There's negative news. There were negative looking technicals. Everything was aligning in the direction, forming a bearish confluence of different indicators suggesting the same exact thing. The Tesla had downside coming, and that's what's happening so far. So what is the critical level for Tesla? It's actually right about here. Let me zoom into this level. So one thing you want to remember about the way we look at charts is that previous breakout areas could become support when you are retesting them. So right here at this is like 244.5, around this zone, 244.5-ish, Tesla had this previous resistance. This was back on Monday. Tesla got this rejection, came down on, this is like very close to Tuesday. And then finally, when we hit Wednesday, Tesla broke out like crazy and started to push very, very nicely as we approached the later days. So the breakout came right over here at 244.5. And now this is acting as support for Tesla. You can see Tesla just got a bounce off of this very, very nicely. So this is a very beautiful looking chart. But here's the thing about it. If Tesla ends up breaking below 244.5, this is a very important support. This thing could start sinking down to 244. If that breaks, it's going to start filling these imbalances. And I think Tesla will likely eventually enter the 238 to 240 area within the next, trading day or two. There's going to be a high probability of that if Tesla ends up breaking below 244.5 and 244. So just be prepared for that in case that ends up being the case. But for minor supports, because Tesla drops so hard, it doesn't have to go all the way down there today. Now with Tesla breaking, if it breaks below this support right over here, 244.5, you're going to be watching 244, then 242 as the next support just about there. So watch these levels very carefully. They're going to be important for Tesla. You can also see that between 250 and about 245, there wasn't too much support for Tesla. And that's part of why we had this like big drop. So I was calling this out as well. Looking at Tesla, we have resistance right now at 245 and also this 247.5 area. And then 248.38, that's the 200 EMA. Those are all acting as resistance levels for Tesla. So we're going to be watching those very carefully as well if Tesla tries to rebound. So right now it's very tight in this area, 245 to about 244.5. We will see if Tesla could try to get a bounce or not. If it breaks below this, that's going to be a very bearish signal as Tesla's in a very critical level. All right. So watch these levels carefully. Just watch the next support zone if it does end up breaking down. And don't forget that we have this critical level also around 238 to 240, which should be tested if Tesla ends up breaking this. But it may take a couple of days to get all the way down there. It may take one more day. So I just want to make it clear Tesla's looking more bearish, and this is continuing to perpetuate across the entire market. Looking at Nvda is also looking weaker. We were talking about this thing potentially breaking down in my previous video. This could be flagging, but just to be safe and just to be clear with this, there's clearly a trend change right here and a change in the market structure. So before it was making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, right? Then it started to make very sideways types of price actions where you're just range bound and stationary. And then it formed a very clean looking double top. And then since then, it started to break down. I told you if it broke below this support right here at this 490 area, the next level is going to be this 485 zone. It's going to be key for it. If that broke, it's going to get very close to this 480. It actually bounced off the 200 EMA instead at 481, so super, super close. But if it breaks below that, then this 478 to 480 level is going to be the next key zone. And if that breaks, 475 is on the table. And then we have these imbalances that could take it all the way down back to the 460s. So it's looking more bearish overall, but we want to see confirmation of the change in the market structure. So far, it looks very evident that that's going to be the case. Now, what does that mean? We want to see this thing start establishing a lower high, then it continue to break to a new low. And that's going to make this thing look more and more bearish. For resistance, you're going to be watching this critical level right here at 487.5. And also then we have like 490 above that. Watch that as resistance. Right now, it's looking weaker, so it could be flagging and there could be more downside coming. At the very end of the day, the market could sink lower as we have, once again, the last Friday before market close, and we have a long weekend ahead of us. So the market does tend to sell off during weekends like this. The market is going to be closed on Monday, which is Labor Day, so that's part of why I am leaning more bearish. Also, don't forget, guys, when it comes to SPY, I showed you guys earlier we have over 1 million puts expiring, but max pain was at around like 445 the last time I checked it. It doesn't really matter to the market makers if we sink, they're going to be completely fine. So it doesn't really, they don't really need to like squeeze shorts too badly or do anything like this because shorts already got squeezed. So it works in their favor to try to hold the market at these lower levels instead. So with SPY, this is not looking that great for the bulls. We got this really nice looking bearish divergence confirmation. Let me just pull up my chart with the other indicators on Webull just to show you what this looks like. So on SPY, on the 30 minutes time frame, by the way, we had this bearish divergence, this triple bearish divergence on the bigger time frame, which led to the sell-off. And this was expected. There's nothing out of the ordinary with this. But what's going to matter is, can we close above or below 450? If we close below it, that's going to be a bigger bearish signal. If we close above it for today, then there's going to be some hope for another bounce for Tuesday, not Monday. Sorry about that. Anyways, what do I see for this? What are some important levels? 450 is going to be support. You're also going to be watching this previous resistance becoming support around this 449.7 area. If that fails us, watch the next level at 449. That's going to be very, very key. If that breaks, right, we have this key support zone at 448 to 448.5. They're all going to be important. If we get below 448, that's going to be a very bearish signal, and this thing is going to likely start sinking a lot lower. So you're going to be watching that very, very carefully. For now, it's just a matter of, can we close above 450 or not? I don't care if it's like 451 or anything like that. 450 or not, if it's below it, that's going to be very bearish for next week. If not, it is what it is. At the very last like 5 to 10 minutes of the day, we may see some like really aggressive selling just like yesterday. So be careful at the very end. For the QQQ, also looking kind of weak. It's retesting this like resistance right about here at this 377.5 area. Watch that. Above that, we have the 50 EMA at 377.67. Then we have like 378. So lots of tight resistance between 377.5 and 378. If it rejects, you're going to be watching 376 as support. If that fails us, it's going to sink all the way down to 375 into the 375s. So it looks more bearish overall. The trend is looking much weaker than before. I mean, if you look at SPY's MACD and also like the triple Qs, they're both looking weaker and they do look like more downside is likely going to come if you look at the MACD on the 4-hour time frame. So it does look more bearish overall. But the only thing that could kind of change this would be Aapl. So there is still a possibility Aapl gets like one last push to like 190 and then it comes down. But I am expecting a pullback for Aapl because there's the triple bearish divergence on the 4-hour time frame and the MACD is starting to curl. We're about to get this bearish cross on the PPO. It's showing signs of buyers exhaustion. and we're starting to lose momentum. So there could be one last push to 190 next week, and then it comes down or it just starts sinking from here. I wouldn't be expecting to come all the way down to very close to these imbalances, like right here. 186.23 should be tested going into next week eventually, and I think Apple sinking will sink the market even lower, leading to more bearish momentum. So that's what I'm seeing. Apple's looking a little weaker in a way where it's not really pushing as hard. It's showing signs of exhaustion. I think that could slow down the market as Apple's been very overbought for a very long time. So a slight pullback on Apple, followed by another like bounce by the second week of September is what I'm expecting, because in September, during the 12th of September, they have their event. So maybe approaching that, it tries to push up. But before that, we might see some like downside first before it bounces for the event. So just keep this in the back of your mind. Apple could slow down this market. With that said, I mean the dollar's continuing to push. We're going to be watching this carefully as well, and don't forget to watch your technicals. SPY, the QQQ, and Tesla are looking relatively weak right now. That's like the overall trend. We will see where SPY closes and just try to be open-minded nonetheless. All right, so thank you for listening. Don't forget to watch the critical levels on Tesla I called out, and I will see you guys later on for the final video of the day. Thank you and peace out.